the ICJ ruling was read off by Judge Joan Donoghue, who is the president of the International Court of Justice. And I think she was formerly in the State Department, right? Under the Obama administration. She's now full-time on this court. These judges are not there to represent their country. But judges tend to,
they'll have,
you have a perspective that is formulated based upon the country you come from. This is a little bit long, but it's really worth listening to the complete list of orders to Israel regarding the South African case against Israel. Here it is.
I shall now read out the operative part of the order. For these reasons, the court indicates the following provisional measures. 1. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to the Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, in particular, A, killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. In favor, President Donoghue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall ensure, with immediate effect, that its military does not commit any acts described in point 1 above. In favor, President Donoghue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke.
Total DEI is throwing this whole thing.
Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. By 16 votes to 1, the State of Israel shall take all measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donoghue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judges Ad hoc Barak, Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde. By 16 votes to 1, the State of Israel shall take immediate and effective measures to ensure the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse conditions of life faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip.
Can we just pause it for 1 sec? You don't need to take it down. I just wanted to note that the Israeli judge voted yes on that. There was only one.
When you hear 15 to 2 means that everybody except for the Israeli judge and the Ugandan judge. When you hear 16 to 1, that means everybody, including the Israeli judge, except for the Ugandan judge. And that last one is Israel must provide basic services. That would be water, electricity, at the very least, and humanitarian aid. All of those things.
Effective measures to ensure the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse conditions of life faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donoghue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judges Ad hoc Barak, Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 and Article 3 of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide against members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sabatinde, Judge ad hoc Barak. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall submit a report to the court on all measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 month as from the date of the order. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sabatinde, Judge ad hoc Barak. I shall now call upon the registrar to read the...
So there it is, and they have got to come back and report on these measures that they're taking. And the point has been made before that for Israel to provide basic services and humanitarian aid for Palestinians in Gaza, and to protect evidence of potential genocide that it may have committed, like, it is going to be difficult to justify their assault and maintain their assault, at the very least at the level that it's been, under these circumstances.
It's basically they lay out there that the attacks on Palestinian civilians must immediately cease, right? That humanitarian aid must be allowed to go through, because I headlined this yesterday, but there were I don't know what their affiliation was, but Israeli protesters blocking aid trucks at the border.
51 aid trucks, right?
And which is also in keeping with the fact that, like, there have been reports of the IDF going through, because they inspect all the trucks before they come in, because they don't want to give the Hamas terror, whatever. And that they'll turn trucks around if they have, basically, if they deem it like fairly unacceptable, even for small reasons. And the fact that Israel has to come back in a month and submit a response, like, it's good news. It's really good news. And, it's going to be quite difficult, as you say, I think, for Israel to conduct itself in the way that it had been previously. But I don't know. The United States backing it unequivocally is going to give them some shield. But
yeah, and Ali Abu Nima echoes the point you made earlier. A ceasefire is what you demand in an armed conflict. In a genocide, you demand an immediate end to all genocidal acts. And that is exactly what the ICJ ordered with immediate effect. And this is, please stop helping Israel spin its historic defeat as a win.
That's exactly right. I think that people focusing on this as, because they didn't call for a ceasefire, actually does aid Israel's propaganda about it, saying that, like, their military campaign is justified. But basically, all of the acts that they lay out there are in keeping with a ceasefire.
Yeah.
So I don't think they needed to say the word, especially because also the other point is that their jurisdiction is over the member bodies in the ICJ, and Hamas is not recognized, I think, as a partner in the ICJ's case here, if I'm not mistaken. So they don't necessarily feel like they can enforce a ceasefire with Hamas.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it'd be nice if the decision came back and it solved the entire problem.
Right.
That's ultimately not within the power of the ICJ.
Yeah.
Small d Democrats. So Israel's just not going to submit that report, right? I mean, I'd be surprised if they do, but who knows? But the bottom line is that this is less about, the value of this is less about what the court can compel Israel to do, but rather what the court's findings and rulings, how they impact the domestic politics in this country and in other Western countries, for the most part, that have been supportive of Israel, and also, arguably the Israeli public, to the extent that that has any implications. But someone more versed in how these things work could speculate better than I could. But I think over the next couple of weeks, we're going to start seeing mechanisms and things happen that this triggers. Not necessarily that are, necessarily put stuff into order. But like I say, we're going to see some prosecutor in Spain or some prosecutor in, I don't know how the system works necessarily in Canada. I just remember Spain was one of the first to come up with the torture of the United States, file cases. We're going to start to see this domestically in other countries, and it's going to impact public opinion. It's going to make it harder for politicians to be supportive of Israel, at the very least. Yeah. At the very least.
So like those State Department flacks that come out and say, like John Kirby, that it's meritless and without basis, South Africa's case. This is proof that it is with a lot of merit. Right. Because that's literally what they were ruling on.
We're going to play clips on Monday of reporters asking Kirby or whoever the state, Miller, okay, now that it's not baseless, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
What are you going to do if Israel doesn't provide this report? What are you going to do if there are continued reports of Israel doing exactly what the ICJ just said for them not to do? This is all going to create much more pressure, the very least, on the American government, I think. We're going to see there's going to be some resolution introduced in the Senate. I would bet next week. That's what we're going to start to see out of this, I think.